Welcome back to Jungle Gap. Season 15 is here, and I've already got a bunch of messages asking me, what's the tech? How am I going to finally climb this season? What do I need to do? Anything that I can, abuse. And unfortunately, sorry about the clickbait, but this video is going to be, again, all about fundamentals. The secret is going to be right here. We're going to be going through all of these fundamentals. I'm going to be breaking them down for you in this game that I played, as well as the mistakes that I made. And essentially, yeah, fundamentals is the only way, the only secret that you can have for, the longevity of your game. And so I'm just going to keep hammering them into you guys. There's a reason I made about 1 billion fundamentals videos already. It's because it is the most important thing to your consistency. So let's jump straight into it. Quickly, before the video begins, I have joined the Jungle Academy. I just wanted to share with you guys this insane resource. Currently, we're doing daily group coaching sessions pretty much every single day except for Friday and Saturday at 11 a.m. AEST. This converts to 2 a.m. CET, 7 p.m. CST. Just keep in mind that Americans, you are 1 day behind. And yeah, this is basically an insane resource. We have the coaching library, so you can just look up whatever matchup, whatever elo, if you want to learn how to play champions. We have all of the VOD reviews uploaded here, with also, fundamentals videos. Just an insane resource. If this is something that interests you, if you are serious about your climb in season 15, check the link in the description below. Okay, so jumping into the VOD now, I'm going to try my best to format this video into kind of 3 different parts: early game, mid game, and late game fundamentals. This is all to do with mindset, mentality, so keeping your composure, not overcompensating for your team's mistakes. I'll refer back to these points because these are going to be throughout the game. Something I really do strongly recommend: mute all. It's going to give you a lot of peace of mind. Very, very, very important, especially if you're someone who gets sucked in, it gets influenced by pings, whose types. If you want to keep pings on, you can do these 2 commands. But let's get straight into it. So first, clear plan. Now, something happened in the early game in this game. But essentially what you want to ask yourself every single game is, where can I get a kill, right? That's the one question you want to ask yourself. And that's going to come down to gank setup, volatility, and enemy's mobility, right? 3 categories you want to consider when you're trying to figure out where can you get a kill. The other question you want to ask yourself is, what is the enemy jungler doing? What can he do? Where can he gank? What's his identity? Does he want a full clear? Can he invade me? And then come up with a plan around that. So in this game, I'm investing in Fiddlesticks, and they did some weird invade early, right? Now, obviously with the minion waves getting buffed and the towers getting buffed, dives are going to be much harder, but I didn't really want to split the map here and let Poppy just dive my bot lane permanently. However, I did want to path to topside anyway, because I had a Fiora versus an Ignite Aurelia. So, I'm going to start on the Wolves here. My reasoning for doing this was, just to make sure the map wasn't split. And if we actually just, if we go through that game plan here, right? Volatility, gank setup, and enemy's mobility. If we look at top, this is the way I like to do it. Very plain and simple game plan. Where can I get a kill? Volatility, top, yes. Gank setup, no. Enemy's mobility, it's pretty good, right? So you're thinking, okay, why am I pathing to this lane? And the simple answer to that is that I think that bot lane is even less likely chance for me to get a kill. Now, I think pathing to either side this game is completely fine. It just so happened that I was on the bot side here, so I wouldn't let them split the map. But this volatility category kind of has like 4 ticks, because I just know it's going to be kind of crazy, right? And I have a Seraphine. I'm just going to let my bot chill. I'm going to let them scale. You can definitely path to bot this game, honestly. It's kind of different though. You're not really playing to kill enemy bot. You're basically just playing for bot lane to protect them. Your job is to protect. And counter gank, right? That would be your role in that kind of game. But yeah, if we look at them for each of the lane, this thing, mid lane volatility, it's a singed, right? I don't really think it's going to be that volatile. Again, it's another lane where I'm playing to protect. I'm not really looking to gank the singed. In this game, we're outscaling kind of hard as well. So this is something we're going to talk about later in win cons. But right now we're just figuring out where can we get a kill. We think it's top. If we do this category for mid, volatility, no gank setup, no mobility, no mobility, so he gets 1 tick. It's just not really there, right? And if we're thinking about the enemy jungle, what does he want to do? He wants to full clear. This ward that I dropped, right? So if we actually talk about what's happening here, this ward is very, very good to try and get. In this case, when the enemy jungle makes this play, I'm able to go and get it because I see them all. So yeah, a little bit of a weird start. You have to adapt. I think warding his top side would have been just as good as well. Okay, so that's the game plan, right? That's that first fundamental, first clear plan. You want to have a clear idea what you want to do. Now, the next thing we're going to be talking about is these two things. These are very, very important in your first clear. I'll even add one, which is just clearing fast. It kind of has to do with having tempo, right? Tempo is time. So clearing fast, this is to do with champion mastery, right? You want to know how to play your champion. You want to know that how to use your spells, how to pull camps out. This is going to save you time, and time is tempo. So that's very important. You know, pulling the camp out here. Could have done it a bit better. And, you know, you don't need to be crazy with this other fundamental, right? You don't, when I'm talking about information gathering, there are two components to this, minimap prompts. So this is when people like kind of collide together. Icons collide. This is like a prompt for you to look. Another prompt is people losing health. This is a prompt then for you to move your camera here and check what's going on and give yourself game updates. This is especially important when you're walking between lanes and you're trying to decide on what you want to do next. And the most pivotal times that this will happen is after 3 camps or after 6 camps, after, you know, your 3 camps, level 3, or your full clear. This is when this is most important to check, okay, what am I going to do after wolves? Am I going to gank bot? Am I going to gank mid? And remember, right, this concept, this fundamental of regular tempo versus spare tempo. Your regular tempo is when your camps are alive, right? This is where going for a gank needs to be high percentage, at least like 80-90% chance to kill, right? Not just to get a flash, not just to help your lane push in. It needs to be a kill on your regular tempo. Now, we'll talk about spare tempo when we get there, right? So we just keep farming. In this case, champ mastery, clearing fast. I decided I'm going to take 2 points Q because I updated myself on the game. Doesn't look like anything's happening, so I just want to have a faster clear, right? I want to be able to maybe get to the scuttle before the fiddlesticks because I know he's also pathing up. And so, you know, my Fiora does some weird stuff. This is where you need to, you know what the right play is. There's no need for me, you know, he's just inting, right? So the response from me doesn't need to be anything. It just needs to be, okay, what's the information, right? Okay, he did die, but he stopped Fiddlesticks, or Fiddlesticks' tempo is now bad. I see that Aurelia is walking this way to lane. So I'm just playing off, even though it was a bad play, I'm not just thinking, oh, my top sucks, he's inting, what is he doing? He's so bad, oh, now I can't get top scuttled because he died. I'm actually just seeing the reality of the game, which is, okay, I can make something from this now, right? Fiddlesticks is somewhere here. I can kind of, okay, has he done his grump yet? Let me ward. He hasn't. Okay, let's do this. You know, I'm playing off of that mistake and turning it into a positive. So no, I know the wave's coming in. This is where some shenanigans I think happen. I think it wasn't this one, but maybe in the next one. So yes, dives are still possible. Towers are strong, so we needed to play it kind of well. And here I just ping, nope, we're not doing that anymore. Aurelia is kind of tricky to dive, and obviously I'm 1 HP. Now, this is where the concept of spare tempo comes in, right? And then basically what that means is, obviously I started wolves this game, so my wolf spawns at 4 minutes. But you basically want to go back to your first camp, which is generally going to be 4:15 here on the Gromp, right? If you're doing a kind of standard clear. You want to be back here basically at 4:15, unless there's something better than that tempo, right? Unless there's something better on the map, like a kill, for example, like a camp maybe, right? If there's something better, you do that. But you want to be back here at 4:15. Spare tempo is when you don't have camps alive. So right now it's not my spare tempo. I don't want to do anything else besides base here because my bot camps are spawning. So in this case, right, if you did a regular clear up, right, you did a regular clear, you took scuttle, usually you'd have around 30 seconds here of regular tempo, of spare tempo. And this spare tempo can be used to help someone push out. It can be used to get some deep wards. It can be used to gank for a flash because this is time where you're not losing out on anything. It's just spare time. So as we can see here, we know Fiddlesticks pathing. We know he started Raptors. And in this case, right, because we see him, right, I'm communicating with pings. So although we play mute all and we mute, and you know, I'm still communicating what he's doing. I'm communicating, hey, Fiddlesticks is here, I'm coming. So a lot of times here, right, you know, I've seen this in my coaching. A lot of times here, it's like, oh, I had the scuttle crab, right? He hasn't done the scuttle crab yet. So initially I was walking that, but I realized, hey, it actually looks like he's committing for this play. So you need to update yourself on what's happening. If he had just turned around there, right? If he had turned around, or if he had even gone to his Krugs here, I'm going to take the scuttle. So the situation changes. You need to adapt to the new information. Right there, his body language was he's moving forwards. He's going for the gank. Look how hard they're committing. If you're not here on this gank, you're going to miss out on something big. If you're tunneling on scuttle here in your camps, you're going to miss out on carrying the game and having a 1v9 performance, right? So that awareness, you know, thinking about, okay, what are they going to do? What do they want to do? What is his body language showing is incredibly important, because you want, so in this case, right, if we talk about tempo and spare tempo, obviously I was very close to camps anyway. So even if they had just turned around, it's not as bad for me as for my time. But you know, it was a high percentage play because of what they were doing, because of their body language. And now we simply just go back to the scuttle. We're thinking ahead of time here, right? So now we're turning that information into a plan ahead of time. Those were those two things. And you'll see this fundamental here. So again, we're panning at lanes. All these fundamentals here are going to be constant throughout the early game. Constant. Obviously, the first clear plan happens once. This first clear plan also sets up the rest of your game. And in this game as well, when we establish win cons, and with, you know, this is something you can think about in the game plan, but it's not required. I used to think that, you know, you needed to spend a time thinking about win cons, but the game changes too much to even bother. But you can start establishing win cons. So now, because of Path to Top, because Maya Fiora is winning, because we killed Fiddle in his jungle, because we win that, I'm thinking here about grubs. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe that's a win con for me. 6 grubs, Fiora split push, right? That could be a win con. So I'm just simply playing to that. It's also obviously nice for me. I can clear up. I'm getting a lot of XP. You know, it's all good. When it comes to objectives, nothing has changed between seasons. You do whatever is efficient for you, number one. And you always should try to match when you can. But in this case, my tempo is too bad. If I run there right now, you know, he might have finished the dragon or whatever. So I'm just committing for this. I'm committing to my you know, establishing this win con of Fiora split push. And now I realize when he hasn't done it, right? And he actually, I think he showed somewhere here. I really want my team to check it. I really want them to ward it, because I think he's on it and he hasn't done it yet. And now we see him now. I have 1.8k gold, right? I'm checking items here. I haven't written this down as a fundamental. But greeding is good. Greeding is okay, right? For an item, for Triforce here, I can just greed. I'm still very strong on the map, so I decide to stay here. We have information of Fiddle. You know, I'm strong. Orianna's strong here. We're pushing. So we just go take his red. Bot lane is showing in lane. Orianna helps me out. Cool. Even if she didn't help me up there, I would just go take my blue. I'd go take Krugs. I would just get my item. And so we're greeding. We're greeding for our item. We're greeding. We're adapting to the information that's on the map. And now, you know, I do want to base. Trust me, I really want to base my item here. But I think there's a small chance Fiddlesticks, like, maybe does his Krugs here, sits behind his bot and tries to ult my bot. So it's a little bit of wasted time here, just for the potential that Fiddlesticks ults here. I am just going to base instantly, right? So it's just like a, you know, you could call this a little bit of a low percentage play, but the loss is not that bad. And something else this also does is it allows me now to path from top to bot, because Dragon is now the new objective that I want to play for. So I've kind of, you know, changed my pathing now. I've managed to, and sometimes you can do this. This is a good example of how you can change your pathing back, is you just need to use some time like that's just showed here. Okay, so new information on the map. As we were just speaking, Fiddlesticks ults mid. He's going top side. He's going into his blue side. We know his blue side is up because as we camera panned here out of base, as we panned here, it's important that we watch this, right? It's important that we literally watch with our camera, because this tells us these camps are down. Obviously, we also have the vision of it, but he doesn't have blue yet, which means his blue is definitely up, and we have a Triforce. So now it's time not to full clear down. We can punish this guy. right? And you can also learn from Fiddle's mistake here. You know, maybe it wasn't so much a mistake on his end. He tried to kill Orianna. He used his ult. Bit unlucky. Probably got his flash. But we need to punish that again. And luckily here, he's just in our jungle. So we find him. TP is coming in. But remember, the new TPs are slow. Remember that when people have flash, you don't want to use your ult straight away. Wasn't in range to get Q auto here. Didn't have smite either. So something important about mechanics, just for Viego. It's important that you don't use your W straight away. Even if I did have W here, you should always go up and Q auto attack first. So we get the kill here. We get out. And now, important, go take his farm. We're still taking his farm. Now we kind of think that top is diveable. I think if I were to play this again, this is not... I realize, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I listen to a ping. Mute all pings. Listen to your own voice in your head. And even if you're wrong, maybe that was diveable. You can then, at the end of the game, say, oh yeah, like if I review this game, maybe we could have dove top. I was wrong about this. So, you know, I'm even being influenced, you know, by this Furious pings. There was nothing there, and I just followed it. All right, so we're skirmishing still in the jungle. I'm still very strong. I still have Triforce, so we're still going to go for these plays. You know, when you're invading like this, right, although Singed is moving first, all we need to kind of do is stall. So this was an interesting interaction in the early game where Singed is missing. So they have 3, we have 2. So right now I'm pinging like, hey, let's go collapse on the Singed instead, because he's the guy that's kind of alone here, right? And they have 2 people here and Singed is here. So we just need to like take this slow. Right? We need to spot people. We need to give Singed this move because we're actually winning from this, from Orianna pushing mid. And then, yeah, we can play it slow, right? Playing very, very, very slow. We know Fiddlesticks doesn't have ult. We know we're stronger. So a little bit of composure again, right? You don't need to all in somewhere, right? The game is already winning naturally. So you're just going to win naturally. And now we try this dive again. We think it's possible this time. I don't have ult. He clears the wave instantly and he dies instantly. So yeah, this early game, there was a massive thing, which was just trying to dive too much. Yeah, maybe this is the new season. Maybe this is minions being squishier than usual. You know, but I think it's more so diving early is just hard. It's just a hard champion to dive. And, you know, we really go for the... I'm trying to bait out his abilities here. Fiora is saying he's going to TP. So there was a bit of... There's a bit of stuff happening top, but that's okay, right? We can learn from these mistakes. And that was actually interesting as well. The TP no longer tanks the hits. So the cannon minion is just dead. The cannon minion is just dead. We live. I used all my tempo. So in this case, right, if you think about match or trade here, we can't actually match the dragon anymore. So that's why I'm doing danger ping. We can't match it, right? They have mid push, they have bot push. I don't have any kind of, you know, resources to go there. So in this case, I just choose to overstay and trade. So once you stay too long, overstaying is a decent idea, because if I base there, right, although I'm kind of, you know, maybe protecting my Gromp, it's just going to be a 1-for-0 trade, right? They're just going to get dragon. We're going to get nothing. And you could say that I used my tempo to dive top, but it's also important to recognize these moments when you can greed. So in this case, we greed. In this case, I actually just stay and greed even longer. So I'm just, you know, I have Triforce, I have 2k gold. It wouldn't have been a bad idea to base there. Greeding is important. I don't think I'm going to break down too much about greeding in this video, but it is important. You can greed. I think I was maybe waiting for gold for an item. I don't know. I don't think I'm close to any items, to be honest. So I think I definitely should have based there. Yeah. Skirmish happens. I'm still obviously very strong. But yeah, I think I should have based that 100%. Unless I was greeding for an item, then that's okay. But since I wasn't greeding for any item, I was just staying for the sake of staying, I definitely should have based. So this whole sequence really, you know, I'm getting sucked in again. At least I'm not dying, which is important, right? But I'm getting sucked in. And now we're kind of going into... So 14 minutes is kind of where the mid-game begins. And we're going to be talking about uptime and downtime. Some of these are still going to be in the mid-game, like establishing win cons. I think a win con for us in this game now is dragons, because we got one dragon. They got one dragon. But we outscale. Getting dragons when you outscale is really good because it gives you more time in the game. The game becomes longer because people aren't getting soul. So what we're really going to be talking about in the mid game now is uptime and downtime. Maximizing farm, match or trade fundamental, and kind of becoming an IGL, pinging your team what to do. So first example of uptime, downtime, right on 14 minutes. We're talking about tempo lines here, okay? So I'm just going to draw some lines on the map, right? These are lines of tempo meaning from base to here, right? Everyone is kind of right now on the same tempo line, which means I don't want to farm these camps. I want to farm the camps that are close to their tempo line, right? And we'll talk about what we do in downtime because downtime is the opposite. But in uptime, essentially what you want to do is you want to play on your team's tempo line. You want to look for camps that are close to the tempo line. So right now I'm just looking for camps close to the tempo line. The other thing that this is going to do, looking for camps, is it's going to allow your team to push lanes because you're kind of shadowing, you're kind of sitting in between. So for example, if my Fiora was top, pushing top, and Aurelia showed up there, this is kind of how you can translate your lead to get map pressure because I'm in his jungle. Yes, I can get collapsed on. Yes, I am Viego. I'm pretty hard to catch. But because everyone's on same tempo line here, my team is just all here, right? We're all grouped here so we can take fights because we're on the same tempo line. Now, Fiora is bot. We are winning for free right now. We did get one pick, right? So continuing to take this fight is now bad because we're winning bot for free. Now they're TPing, so now I'm danger pinging. Right now, I don't want to fight anymore. It's done. We got a kill. We're getting something really, really huge now for bot. So now we don't want to fight anymore. Yeah, we can throw a stun here, but in the end of the day, we said give him up, right? So keep your composure. Mentality-wise, your Orianna dies. It's okay, right? The game doesn't end there. It was actually a good trade because Fiora got bot tier 2 tower, which is insane. And you'll see, right? You'll see this Fiora is perma-inting this game, which I want to talk about, you know, keeping your composure, not overcompensating for team's mistakes. This is going to happen in the mid game more. So now we have an example of downtime, right? So if I actually just go back here, Orianna is dead. Now we need to play downtime, right? Being in the jungle is now bad. And this is the perfect time to farm your own camps. So now because we kind of ran past our camps into their jungle to play uptime on this line, now we're actually going to play downtime because we have less numbers, because we have a lot of gold. People want to fix their lanes. People want to push out. We specifically don't have a lot of gold. But it's time to kind of go back, clear your camps, clear waves. See, Seraphine is now basing. So this is a time for everyone. Now we're trying to sync up again. We're trying to either... So you have two options here on downtime. You can either greed by staying and basing. So what's going to happen now is Orianna's going to spawn. Seraphine and Ashe are going to base. And when they all are running at a base here, I want to either base after Krugs and join them on that tempo, or I just want to stay, right? Clear this, and then just stay on the map when they come out back to this line, right? And in this case, because I only have 700 gold, you definitely want to greed. You want to farm more. Farm more. So I'm covering top here. I'm just waiting, right? I'm not going to try and go kill Aurelia. I'm not going to try and run into the jungle right now. Okay, I end up basing. So this is a huge mistake. I definitely should have stayed there. It was not worth basing for... What did I buy? I based for some components. So my tempo wasn't too bad. I definitely should have stayed there. So that was a big mistake. I should have stayed with the Orianna here. Actually, Dragon was spawning. Okay, maybe I could have just... Maybe it was just greeting and then going to Dragon. Either way, right? You can also just stay there, right? You can also just run to mid. You just want to make sure that you're somewhat on your team's tempo, right? So here, there are no camps to farm. Okay, this is another mistake. I should run straight to their Raptors. Okay, so two mistakes I made here. I should have stayed, helped Orianna push that wave out, and then I should have crossed here and took their Raptors. So I made big mistakes in downtime here. I based when I should have, and I'm farming camps when I shouldn't. I should be right here, right now. Again, if I'm killing this camp, my team is going to be able to push this and help me here. My Fiora is going to be able to push this and help me here if I want to go take Krugs. So little mistakes. Still needing refinement. You know, I can talk about fundamentals all day, and yet still you can always refine. And now this is a good example. Now we're playing uptime, right? we're all here grouped. We have 5 people here. So if they want to contest their vision, if they want to contest anything on Dragon, we're just going to fight them. So when you're on uptime, when you're in their jungle, take fights. Take fights like this, even though we're in their base, right? The fact that we're all together means that we win. It means that we're on the same page. It means that we're all on the same tempo line. Again, now, downtime's happening, right? This is, look at the tempo lines. Some guy is here, some guy is here, some guy is here. So when this happens, do we help Fiora kill the tower? Or do we just go take Dragon and then go back and take our camps? Of course, we just go backwards, take our camps, take Dragon. When you have an inter like this, right? Okay, now 2 people died, right? 2 people died on the downtime. So this is even more downtime. This is where you just farm, right? Now I have Collector here, again, to greed or to base for an item. I have Collector here, so I think I decide to base. So I'm basing here, I'm syncing up with Ashe, I'm syncing up with my team. So in this case, my downtime here, I didn't play to farm, I play to base. Okay, so out of base, my team is going for a big play top. We're flying in with TPs. It doesn't look good already. It looks very bad. Instantly, when 2 people die, what does it become? It becomes downtime. So again, now I just farm, right? And if we look at the fundamentals, if we look at the secrets here, uptime, downtime, maximizing your farm, here it comes. Match, trade, or defend. Another mistake that I make. So in this situation, it is downtime. This is where this fundamental comes in, match, trade, or minimize. So when your team dies here, right, can I match top here? What I'm doing right now and I'm fighting, this is matching. This is not trading and it's not minimizing. Trading would be going and taking the bot side camps with my team here. Minimizing would be running the safe way to top and trying to defend the tower, which could be still be the wrong choice because they might just die me. Which is, yeah, those three things are what I can possibly do here. I could also minimize and defend Singed bot and just catch the bot wave. So the correct play here, because I can't, there's nothing really to trade, right? There's a red, but I have to run all the way here. The correct play here is to just simply give this tower and defend this tower, right? If I think I can defend top, sure, go for it, but I need to minimize. What I'm doing right now is I'm matching. I'm trying to match this Poppy. I'm trying to fight for some reason. 3 people show up. Bad, dead. Big mistake. Big mistake. I also had a bounty. I give Aurelia 690 gold. So yeah, don't be surprised if you make a mistake like this in a game where you kind of have to play really well for it to lose you the game. Because yeah, after I gave Aurelia 690 gold, this game became way harder just because I didn't minimize. So plenty of mistakes in the mid game that we can learn from, even though it looks like I'm having a really great game. And the last thing, becoming an IGL, I think I make some pings here. So again, I'm just gonna note to you guys, downtime, 2 people based, time to farm your camps. Farm. When they get back on the map, okay, this case, we see them on top side. So we're kind of going ahead of our team's tempo line, but we have good vision, so we can do it in this case. Of course, guys, League is not black or white. There's gonna be little moments where like, yeah, we see them, so we can take their red, right? Okay, we're all on uptime again. We see them all. So we get to punish Aurelia. We chase him down. Baron is not up. The new Atakan is up. So, you know, something happens here where we all, you know, we're trying to match. So this buff is actually kind of tanky. We don't actually get there on time, but it is very tanky. So you can, in this case, we're playing to match because we have more numbers. You can always match when you're stronger. That's the way you want to look at it. As long as you can actually make it here before they kill it. If they kill it and you run there, yeah, you should have done something else. You should have traded. So we win a fight. And as soon as you win a fight like this, you want to look at what you can take. This is to do with maximizing your farm again. So maximizing your farm is not going back to your top side camps here. Never. Whenever you kill something, you always want to look for their camps first. So even though their Grump is not here, I get their blue. Now I get their wolves. I'm looking for all the camps on their side first. I'm not touching my camps on my side. Because those camps will be taken in the downtime. So we're still playing uptime. Okay, now people are basing, people are dying. My Fiora is dead again, right? The Inter is dead again. Pressuring, trying to get in him, getting 1v1 by Aurelia. Orianna's basing. So downtime, uptime, downtime. Now it's downtime, now we farm. In this case, basing is better because I have 2k gold and dragon spawning. So there wasn't many times where I could actually show the greeding side of things, but there are going to be times where, say, dragon wasn't alive. Say you had 700 gold here. You would stay and farm in the downtime. Okay, so Dragon is spawning in this round. We're syncing up temple lines. As soon as they're synced up, we are fighting. When you verse Fiddlesticks, it's very important that you just mark him. So you just want to make sure you always see him. Make sure you're always looking for him. If you're always looking for him, it's really hard to play. This is why Fiddlesticks doesn't really work in high elo. And so, you know, again, the fundamental... This is obviously establishing win cons is something that happens over the game, but Soul is a win con for us now. Soul is a win con while Fiora tries to draw people to the side. Soul is a win con. Playing uptime again. We realize here that we can't break the tower. See, the Fiora is dead. Fiddlesticks is spawning. Poppy is spawning. So we're just trying to take camps. And now we finally get to see a farming downtime, right? A farming downtime. So we don't base here with our team because we only have 700 gold. We want to fully just clear up. Farm, 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 farm. And then here comes one of the most important parts about jungle. Farming while you're looking at a fight, right? Because my team is now about to play uptime. Their lines, their tempo lines again are on the same thing. We're farming in proximity to them. So you got to make sure that you see these opportunities, right? When this happens, you need to go to it. You need to go and fight. You need to translate your lead and win the team fight. I can't stress this enough. The amount of times I've seen players of all elos, even high elo, you know, they go to Krugs there instead just because their awareness is not there. So, you know, if you think about the most ideal way to get fed as jungle, it's by farming efficiently and killing efficiently. So essentially what this round just happened, downtime into farm a lot, into clean up the fight, into farm more. Look at my gold. Look at my CS, look at my KP, right? This is what you want to have a 1v9 performance. Even though I made mistakes this game, could have been cleaner, could have been more refined. This is the most important thing, right? Being able to get fed. Get as fed as you possibly can, right? As soon as there's nothing else to farm, I'm syncing up my tempo again. My team's running out of base. Our tempo is a little bit behind. Here we go again, right? Fight happens again, right? So fights can happen all the time. We all know this. You need to be watching and you need to be the diff. Which is, you know, starting to talk about late game, protecting, pushing waves, which we just did just before in that round earlier, and team fight style. So team fight is going to break up. Viego as a champion, as an identity, he really does want to just play for a reset. So if you are playing Viego, you're going to play for a reset. If you're playing other champions, usually there's two main kind of ways you can team fight. Front to back, which is hitting the front target, hitting whoever your carry is hitting. Front target, everyone's hitting that guy. That's how Viego wants to play. Obviously, he's very flexible. You can sometimes dive. It's not black or white. But in this game, you know, I have a team comp that front to back ADC, front to back mid, and a front to back support. So I really just want to kill the front target every single time I can. I just want to kill front, which you'll see in the team fights this game. Fiddlesticks, this is why it's important to find him. Even though he's inting this game, he has literally one item. He's somehow changing the course of a team fight. So yeah, we lose a team fight. If you just consider also the gold right now, and if you look at the, you know, these fundamentals is how I can be up 120 CS right now on Fiddle at 25 minutes. You know, my team isn't doing extraordinarily, right? You know, this isn't the worst team in the world. This is a picture perfect 70% kind of game where it's in your control to win or lose. But these are the games that you really want to focus on. You know, the games that you just have, you know, 4 inters going 0 and 10, you brush those games off. It doesn't matter. In the long run, if you play consistently like this, you will climb. All right, next round is beginning, right? Why do we not take Gromp here? Why do we not take Wolves? Uptime. So we're doing uptime stuff. We're you know, we can still farm on uptime, right? We just want to look for enemy camps. We want to stay on that line where we can help the fight. Some stuff happens in the mid game. So this is, you know, again, protecting waves, making sure you push in waves. What this gives you, right, when you have waves pushed in, is it gives you a lot of map control. So right now our map kind of looks like this in terms of control, right? We own this much. If you have all lanes pushed in, you own all of the map pretty much. Like all of this is basically yours because waves give vision. Waves force the enemy to show on those waves. So I would say if your team isn't pushing side lanes in the mid game, you should do it. So here I actually think that just me going top and pushing the wave and protecting the wave is better than what we're doing. We did kind of think that they may go for Fiora. So right now we're just playing with Fiora's pressure. So he is an intel, right? He is dying, but he's kind of doing what Fiora does too, right? He's not, you know, he's not just griefing the game. He is taking the bot in here, right? And so what us starting Baron there does is it makes them have a really hard decision. Do you guys want to send numbers to defend Fiora, or do you guys want to send numbers to stop us doing Baron? If you stop us doing Baron, Fiora will take inhib. If you stop Fiora, we'll take Baron. So you need to find kind of ways to pressure the game in the mid game, in the late game. Just controlling vision. Again, I think pushing that top wave would have been a better play, but we end up finding a Poppy pick here. So especially, you know, in the late game when there's nothing to really do, Dragon is an option, of course. But you can see I'm not farming too much, which I think, yeah, again, I should be pushing top. So we catch Poppy, fight breaks out. Again, because you are so strong, because you've done all the fundamentals, because you've done everything correctly, you are able to be the diff in these fights, right? That's the whole point. I actually kind of think I played this bad at the end. I should have killed Ezreal sooner. But again, the same thing. And you know, it's not to be like a KDA player or anything like that, right? You're just putting yourself in the driver's seat. And every single fight I clean up, it's not like I'm trying to like stay alive. It does help though. But what can happen when this when you do stay alive, when you farm, clean up, farm, clean up, farm, these rounds happen. You get mid wave, you get Raptors, you get Dragon. So again, I've just a bunch of gold. I'm 250 CS at 29 minutes as Viego, right? Not really a you know, he's not considered a hard farming champion, but I'm also not missing any fights, which is a key takeaway in the mid and late game. All right, another round. We take red. We don't go for more camps. We go uptime. I wish my Orianna was pushing top here, but I think we're just playing for Baron. We're playing with Fiora. Again, same thing again. Literally taking one camp, back to pressuring. Make the enemy make a tough decision here. They decide to fight us. They decide not to stop Fiora, so now we just want to stall. We want to stall. And kite back. Win the fight. I accidentally smited someone. Don't do that. And I didn't really get to show this becoming an IGL. But when you do have a KDA like this, when you do have a scoreline like this, people are much more inclined to listen to you. So in these moments, right, where I'm pinging Baron, where I'm pinging off Baron, when we're, you know, when I'm having these pings in chat, right, when I'm pinging on the way to the enemy Raptors, when I'm pinging fights, when I'm doing all these things, that's IGLing, that's in-game leading. People will listen to you if you have good ideas. All right, and then that's pretty much, I believe, the end of the game. We end mid. So if you're able to learn something from this video, I know it's a classic fundamentals video, but as you can see, plenty of mistakes from myself, plenty of things to learn from. So if you have learned anything from this video, let me know in the comments, and also let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see in the future.